Hey guys, EverdreamJustPlays here. Today I wanted to do a quick overview for you on YouTube of Ravenlok, which is new to Game Pass, and just have a discussion on kind of continuation about my thoughts on Redfall and the thoughts of many of the gamers that have been disappointed, to say the least, in the state of not only Game Pass, but the state of video games as a whole coming out half-baked and then getting put back in the oven after they're paid for. So I kind of wanted to focus my attention on, games that are on Game Pass now and coming out relatively recently that maybe fly under the radar, but also aren't looked at by many gamers. I know a lot of the AAA games like Redfall and are kind of what people are looking for. But I want to highlight a little bit of an upside to Game Pass as well. And one of the upsides to Game Pass is for one price per month, you get to play a lot of different games that maybe you wouldn't typically look at or you wouldn't typically buy. Redfall is actually one of these games for me. I was wanting it when it came out, but I wouldn't buy that game until I saw reviews for it. I learned my lesson on No Man's Sky, pretty much, and Duke Nukem Forever. But because these games were on Game Pass, I was able to play them and experience them for myself. And when it comes to Redfall, I wasn't disappointed in Redfall so much as I think it could be so much more, and I hope that they make it so much more. But that being said, this game is fairly new to Game Pass. I don't know how long it's been around. It's a Unity-based game called Ravenlok. So this is got a little bit of that blocky kind of Minecraft-looking texture going on that you commonly see for Unity games. And it's a very cute, very short game, but I would say very much worth the play if you have Game Pass. So, starting with the story, I would say with reasonable confidence that this story kind of takes cues from a lot of different cartoons. Alice in Wonderland vibes, that sort of thing. You can see the characters, obviously bunnies. Let's be honest here. We've got the evil queen. We've got some hedgehogs. We got a guy with a tiny door. Alice in Wonderland galore was clearly inspiration for this. Now, do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that this was a complete rip-off of Alice in Wonderland. I just see the inspiration here from the developer. So I enjoy the simplistic story of this game in terms of you're moving into a new house and you get sucked in through a mirror and go off on an adventure. I also see what I think to be some other cartoon references, but I'm not 100% sure if they're a thing. For example, there's a shiny crab, which kind of gives me a Moana, vibe. So, in terms of reviews, I usually do this in 5 steps. So step number 1 is the general overall story of the game. So, as I spoke of, I think this story is fairly short, fairly cute, very inspired by other stories, children's stories, Alice in Wonderland, etc. I think the creative team here did a pretty good job of lining up both the aesthetics of the story and the general environments that they were looking for. I would give it a solid, I'd say 8 out of 10 for the aesthetics in terms of kind of what you see is what you get. Dialogues are nice and quick. So you're not sitting here and force dialogues for 40 minutes. Hunting around for different items is fun. It is more of, I'd call it a kid's game because usually the stuff is pretty easy to find. It's possible to die in this game, but it's also a little bit hard to die in this game, unless you kind of do it on purpose. So you can see, you use these mirrors here to travel around, and I've pulled this video here right off of my Kick live stream over at kick.com/EverdreamJustPlays. If you guys can go there and leave me a follow, I would appreciate it very much. You can also subscribe if you'd like to help with medical bills. I'm sponsored by W.GG, which is down in the corner. That code EJP gets you 10% off on their site, which also helps with medical bills. So, like I said, story, I'd call it 8 out of 10 for, the aesthetics versus the story. This game hits the mark on exactly what they were looking to get and kind of what you got out of it. It's a wee bit lighthearted and shallow on the story. They don't go too in-depth into, how you got here, why, etc. But I think that's intentional on the developer's part. So, excellent. The next thing that I like to look at is sound and music design. So just to be clear, the music in this is always turned off because otherwise YouTube copyright strikes soundtracks for video games for whatever reason. For some reason, developers never think about the fact that your music track might be, copyright striked. Some of them will put in a streamer mode, which changes the music, etc., but I always just kind of use the music. With that being said, while having the music on, it's very, very well done. In fact, a lot of the sounds in the game are very, very well done. Each character kind of has their own little vibe. Each area has its own little vibe in terms of music. And it all kind of fits the general overtone of each area of the world. So I would call it sound and music design on this would be about a 7.5 for me. The next thing I want to look at is just kind of the general overworld and environments themselves. So I discussed a little bit earlier on what I think of this game overall. But the actual worlds, so if you look around, you can see in this game here, I am currently in what's known as the mansion, and without giving away any spoilers. The mansion here is, while being small, it's aesthetically laid out very well. It definitely gives off the vibe of Alice in Wonderland. When you first get into the game, they don't really tell you kind of what to do, what you're looking for. They give you pointers more than just a straight go here, do this, which is always good in my opinion. That being said, it's not an open world game. It's each kind of overworld has a linear tone. So you'll see different sections of the game have different looks. So you got the Mushroom Kingdom, you've got the Labyrinth. I'll skip to the Labyrinth here. You can overlook and see kind of what that looks like. So beautiful backdrops for the game. They give a real good, in my opinion, aesthetic for each level. And each level, biome is very much different. The color palette on it is kind of greenish, reddish brown for a majority of the game. And some spots can look a little bit muddy just because of the color palette, which I think they kind of did to make the game pop. But when you get down to it, it doesn't look awfully bad. So, in terms of game and world design, I'm going to give it a quality level of about 7 out of 10. There's things that they could have done better, but they didn't overuse certain aesthetics and items, which is one big key thing that I'm not a big fan of, is when you see stuff in games that's reused in one room multiple times for no reason. So I'll kind of show off. So you got this is the main mansion here, so you can see what the general area looks like for this. And you got a Mushroom Kingdom kind of here, and you can see that the color palette here changes to a little bit more purple. Enemies are nice and glowy. We've got this boss here. This guy was actually hard because I wasn't leveled up. You're supposed to level up before you fight this guy. Actually, you're not even supposed to fight this guy yet. You're supposed to get a quest from the witch to kill him and then go kill him. So there's that. But you can see the greens, blues, purples. Yeah, and then of course the red and brown and green that I mentioned before. A lot of this is me trying to kill that guy without the proper spells. Here's another section where you got a lot of the reds, blues, greens. So I wouldn't say the color palette is bad. It does a really good, job of just popping in general. But it's one of those things where a little diversity wouldn't kill, so that's kind of where the extra 3 points goes for me. And then overall, the next thing I'd like to talk about is replayability. So I honestly think that that's where this game is going to get the lower marks at. I think this is a one and done kind of game. You're pretty much going to be able to 100% it. If you try hard enough in one shot, you can find everything, do all the quests. So I'd give that a nice 5 out of 10. I don't think anybody's going to load this up for a second shot once they beat it, unless they're speedrunning it. And so overall, just being a quick 15 to 20 minute video about this game, I would definitely recommend this game if you have Game Pass as, a fun little romp between games if you're not sure what to do. It's definitely worth a try. You already have Game Pass, so it doesn't cost you anything. It's not a very big install. I think it was somewhere around like 3 gigabytes or something. I can't remember for sure. But definitely wasn't very big. There is some things they could have done to make this game what I would consider a tiny bit better. A free motion camera would, like 360 camera, would be awesome. I don't know if that's doable for this game. If the hats had certain stats on it, you can see there where it's got different hats you can wear. If those had like certain stats or bonuses on it, that would be super awesome. The skills are very nice, actually. I enjoyed the dash move, being able to just dash around all day long without some ridiculous stamina bar running out after like half a dash. Definitely enjoyed that. Definitely felt like a pretty powerful character using the bullet spray and the AoE fire dot, which you get later on. It's not actually in this gameplay loop that I'm doing here. It's on the second video, which I can link in the top corner somewhere up over here. I did do a majority of a gameplay loop on this, so if you guys want to check that out, again, it's kick.com/EverdreamJustPlays. I'll leave a link to that down in the description. Hit me with a follow. This has just been a quick overview of Ravenlok on Game Pass for you guys to check out. If the gameplay that you're seeing now looks like something you'd be interested in, then have at it, and it doesn't cost you anything because you already have Game Pass. I'll let you watch this boss fight. So you can see there, once you get leveled up, the sky dye is actually pretty easy. So I went from level 1 to level 4. You level up by using the feathers. And then each of the things that you kill also give you coins. So you use coins to buy potions, you use feathers to level up. And then each time you level up, it takes more feather things to level up. So by the time I got to the end of the game, I believe I was somewhere around level 15. Oh, very interesting. I appreciate you guys watching over here on YouTube. Please feel free to just hit me with a subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'm going to be checking out more games on Game Pass. I kind of just want to see what's good, what's not. And I would like to also see you on my live stream, which is, like I said, kick.com/EverdreamJustPlays. Hit me with a follow there. I play a lot of Battlefield 2042, even though I'm not very good. I also play pretty much any game that comes my way. If you're a developer and you'd like to see your game featured on this channel, I would love to help you with that. Just feel free to reach out to me, and I will get you all set up with a gameplay of your game as well. Thank you.